let's get going. Welcome to the Wednesday, April 21st, 7 p.m. Board of Select Persons meeting. As we always do at the beginning of the meeting, I would ask my fellow select board members to please announce themselves by name.
Ed Lane, present.
Dave Roach, present.
Warren Archie, present.
Mary Beth, your mic might be turned down. We can't hear you.
Gee.
You give it another try, Mary Beth? Oh, no. Ooh, okay. If you have a phone or a landline nearby, you could dial in and pair the unless there's a way to enable audio otherwise.
Well, in the meantime, I will acknowledge Mary Beth's present and also announce my own Neil Maximilian present. I see that we have Clarence Fanto from the Berkshire Eagle and CTSB also recording the meeting. Is there anyone else who is recording and now broadcasting the meeting? Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can, Mary Beth. Much better.
Great.
Great.
Welcome by voice. I have no particular announcements from the chair. So why don't we move on for a motion to accept the minutes of April 7th?
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of April 7th meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Warren
Okay,
abstains.
okay, thank you, Warren. We are at the Citizens Open Forum. Are there any folks in the audience who wish to speak now? Okay, I take it that folks are here for other motions later on, so we'll move on from that to our consent agenda. The one item that we have tonight, which is a very pleasant item to speak of, is that we were informed by Darlene that the community center has been offered a donation of a 30 by 60 ice rink that will dovetail well with our ice rink plans for the community center, and the director would like the board to approve the donation. So may I have a motion for that, please?
Sir, I moved, well, can we just ask a question about it first?
Of course.
Not a question. I just think it's very generous of Ronnie to donate this, and I'm sure Darlene has a use for it and a place for it. So, it's just another one of those things. It's very nice. We've in the last couple of years had a lot of donations given to the town, and I want to thank Ronnie Fenton for doing this. That's great.
Very generous offer by Ronnie, and she certainly deserves our gratitude. I note that that's going to be quite a busy section of town with our to be built pickleball courts, the tennis courts, obviously, and now skating. It's a wonderful donation, and it's nice to see that area of the community center grow.
Yep. Okay, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion. We approve the consent agenda as presented.
No, I think we only got the one item.
Yes.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, folks. And thank you, Ronnie. Very generous. So we have, under general business, a few hearings to get through. The first is for the transfer and alteration of an all alcohol license, East Road Farm Corporation, doing business as the Old Heritage Tavern on 12 Housatonic Street.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'll read the public notice.
Please.
Notice is hereby given that a hearing will be held by the Board of Selectmen in their capacity as licensing board on an application for the transfer and alteration of premises on an all-annual all-alcoholic hotel license, which has been filed with the local licensing board by, is it East Road or East Rood?
East Route.
East Rood Farm Corporation, DBA Old Heritage Tavern, for premises located at 12 Housatonic Street, Lenox, and consisting of the restaurant containing approximately 2,500 square feet on the first floor of the building, a three-story building, on the first floor of the three-story building, an outdoor area in the front containing 880 square feet for 30 seats, and an outdoor area in the back containing 825 square feet for 16 seats. Applicant seeks to include the outdoor dining areas in the description of the premises. There are exits in the dining area northeast corner, northwest corner, and southern wall. An emergency exit is in the kitchen on the southeast corner. The board will act on said application on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021 at 7 p.m. in the Select Board's meeting room and via Zoom. Neil Maximilian, Chairman.
Second.
I think that was the public hearing. I think you need to move to open it now. That was the notice. And
Oh, yeah, okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Now I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Do we have anybody here on behalf of East Root Farm that wishes to speak or on behalf of this application? Glory, the floor is yours. Oh,
Lori, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're having some trouble with your audio.
Okay, here's the problem.
Oh,
All right.
there you are.
You hear me now?
yes, we can.
Okay. So for the record, my name is Lori Robbins, representing the applicant East Rood Farm Corporation. The sole member of the East Rood Farm Corporation is Ryan Salome. You might have heard about him as the owner of the Firefly restaurant. He grew up in Sandusfield. He worked at Martin's Restaurant in Great Barrington, Firefly Restaurant, and he did some catering. He graduated from Monument High School in 2012 and went to University of Mass, Amherst. He's now working for a global trading company, but has always wanted to come back to the Berkshires, own a restaurant, and enjoy the lifestyle that we have here. He currently is splitting his time between Hong Kong and Massachusetts. He's stuck there for the moment, but anticipates being back here at the end of May. He has just purchased the real estate and the business that is the Old Heritage Tavern and is applying for a transfer of that liquor license to his entity. He's named Jane Blanchard as his manager. She's also the manager, as you may know, of the Firefly restaurant. He's known her since he grew up as a close friend of her son's. So he's worked with her, he's worked with her son, wants to return to the area and run a very successful restaurant. Just so you know, there's no plans for changing the menu or drastically altering anything having to do with either of these wonderful local restaurants, to put your minds at ease. But what I did want to clarify for this transfer of license as an alteration of premises is to make sure the licensed premises includes those favorite areas we like to go is to the outdoor dining. When I filed this application, I also filed with it the special permit decisions from the ZBA from 1995 and the year 2010 that allowed outdoor dining at this premises. So I've included that in the application, and I'm asking for the selectmen to approve this transfer of license and alteration of premises.
As long
Thank
as
you,
they
Laurie.
keep burger night at both of those places, I'm on board.
I'll just speak up in favor of it. Very happy for John. He's worked very, very hard there for years and years and years, and he's gonna enjoy not being there, I'm sure. And welcome to the new owners. Like everybody in town, we're very happy that it's still gonna be the Heritage, or as close to it as it can be. So that makes everybody happy, and best of luck to the new owners and new staff and everybody there.
So any questions?
No questions for me. I'm giving space for anyone who wanted to speak. I can't tell if that's Warren. Yeah, Ed, I'll echo your sentiment. Best of luck to and best wishes to the new ownership. It's kind of a landmark in town, obviously, and John will be missed. We thank him for all that he's done, but the restaurant will go on. So, looking forward to it.
Yep.
I would agree. This is Warren. Congratulations to John on a very successful 20 years, and best wishes to the new owners.
So with that, Mr. Chair, may I close the public hearing or make a motion? I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So I'll make a motion to approve the all alcoholic hotel license application of East Rood Farm Corporation, doing business as Old Heritage Tavern located at 12 Housatonic Street, dated March 29, 2021.
Second.
And all in favor on the motion?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thanks, Lori.
Okay, Ed, moving on, we're right on another public hearing.
Okay, I'll read the notice. Notice is hereby given that a hearing will be held by the select board in their capacity as licensing board on the application of the transfer of an annual all alcoholic hotel license, which has been filed with the local licensing board by Lenox Collection LLC, doing business as Church Street Inn, for premises located at 16 Church Street, Lenox, and consisting of dining, lobby, sitting room, and sunroom located on the first floor. The outdoor seating is located near the entrance to the inn. The room identified on the floor plan as tavern is located in the basement. The board will act on said application on Wednesday, April 21, 2021 at 7 p.m. in the Selectmen's meeting room and via Zoom. Neil Maximilian, Chairman, Lenox Select Board.
Thank you, Ed. Can I get a motion to open the hearing?
Can I make a motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
we are now in the public hearing for the Church Street Inn.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ethan Klepetar. I'm an attorney with Hellman, Schern and Arienti, and I'd like to speak on behalf of the applicant, Lenox Collection LLC.
Please do. Welcome.
Thank you. So Lenox Collection LLC, I have the managing partners here with me, Russell Lange and Seth Johnson. Lenox Collection LLC has invested in a few inns in Lenox and are very interested in Berkshire County, Lenox in particular, and keeping it as a destination area for tourists, but also to keep the restaurants and tavern life in Lenox a exciting place for the locals as well. So we closed on the real estate as well as the business assets on March 15th, 2021. I believe that the Church Street Inn, there used to be a restaurant called Rumpelstiltskin's there and a tavern called Rumpy's. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. And it's been shut down, I believe, for a little over a year. And the management of Lenox Collection is very interested in opening the inn back up, getting the restaurant up and running again, getting the tavern up and running again, and again, bringing back this exciting historic inn to the town of Lenox. The Lenox Collection LLC, as I mentioned, it's managed by Russell and Seth, Mr. Lange and Mr. Johnson. They developed the financing for it through equity financing. So the sole member of Lenox Collection LLC is Lenox Hospitality LLC, which includes several silent investors who provided the funding in order to get the funds to purchase the real estate as well as the assets. And that's sort of the background of the management structure. But really, we're here just asking for a transfer of the license from the previous owner to the new owners so we can open those restaurants and taverns again, open the inn again, and have it be another fun, exciting place in Lenox where people can come, have meals, get drinks, and all the things that have been going on at the Church Street Inn for as long as I can remember visiting, until about, like I said, about a year ago. I'm happy to answer any questions. It was a very large application, as I'm sure you all saw, and I'm also sure that Mr. Lange and Mr. Johnson would be happy to answer any questions that the select board might have.
Questions, comments?
No, I go back a little farther than Rumpy's, you know, and it was Poor Richards.
Poor Richards,
Years,
yeah.
years ago. Dave remembers that also. And you know, it was a favorite hot spot in town. Nice place to go, friendly place, and you know, I'm hoping that Russ and Seth will just continue that what it was years ago. And again, it's kind of been like musical chairs around here, or the inns and everything in the last couple of months. But welcome. I wish you the best, and you know, good luck with it. And I'll be stopping in to see you.
We'll look forward to seeing you. Thanks so much.
So
Yeah,
I'll
it would be
echo.
great
Go
if
ahead,
you
Mary.
guys had, you know, some comedy, other stuff going on there. I know that used to happen at Rumpy's back in the day. But again, like everybody else has said, it's just great that you've picked up this great asset, and we're looking forward to everything you're going to be doing with it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to revitalizing the space and doing some exciting programming. Really, it's just having a great outlet for the community. We know Rumpy's is popular. We're looking to rehab the space, and we're excited for its potential.
So I'll echo what Ed said. You know, I go back to when it was Poor Richards as well. I was a young man. It was a nice spot, and it was a great spot for functions as well, the inn itself. So good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess I'll move to close the public hearing.
Yeah, I you know, I get fooled by the light. I thought Warren maybe was speaking up. Sorry, Mary Beth. I'll echo everybody else's sentiment. Best of luck with your renovations, and we're happy to have the business in town. And I support you.
Thank you.
And this is Warren. I feel likewise. Good luck.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Go ahead, Mary Beth.
Okay, I move to close this public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
now we need a motion for the approval.
So I'll make a motion to approve the all alcoholic hotel license application of Lenox Collection LLC, doing business as Church Street Inn, located at 16 Church Street, dated April 1st, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Gentlemen, congratulations. Welcome to town. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, we appreciate your investment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chris, we need to make a motion to continue from 2 weeks ago. I believe we left that meeting feeling that we wanted the zoning board to weigh in. And I believe that they have a date in May to do so. So this is just a continuance, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I think, and Mary Ellen can correct me if I'm wrong, but we may have we may have a decision at that date, and if we do not, we would move to further continue at that time. But May 19th seems to be the target date at this point.
Fair enough. Okay, Ed,
I'll make a motion to approve, no, I won't. I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for LH Management Manager Northeast LLC to May 19, 2021 at 7 PM.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
yes,
I second it.
okay, well done. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Right.
Okay, just to remind folks, as I did, this is business that we had before us. We sought to hear the zoning board's feeling about this because there was some proximity issues and they have not had a chance to meet yet, so we are continuing that public hearing to a later date. Next up for discussion is annual town meeting. I believe our chief administrative officer would like to make some comments here. He has a recommendation.
So
All yours, Chris.
thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. We've been working with town staff, Mary Ellen Deming, myself, our town clerk, Carrie Sullivan, as well as consulting with department heads and others on, facing what I think is a consensus, not only of staff, but also members of the board and perhaps the town generally, of pushing a town meeting out from its traditional date of the first Thursday in May, so that it can be held outside and more reliable and favorable weather. Perhaps, hopefully for the last time. But I think the date that we've been circling, at least among staff, would be a late June date, noting that if a Saturday were a preferred option, June 19th is a holiday. So that leaves June 12th or 26th. The 12th is somewhat less advantageous because school would still be in session, and the be perhaps more problematic from an operational perspective. And then the 26th is still allows us to be in before the beginning of the next fiscal year. That was the reason for the staff. Now I know there are perhaps infinite permutations around that time frame. We've put out 5 o'clock after I had a conversation with the chair, as having some advantages in terms of the not being in the direct sun at that point in the day. But there may be other considerations. There may be scheduling considerations that the board will want to discuss amongst yourselves. But I throw this out as a straw man for the purposes of generating a discussion.
Mr. Chair, may I speak?
Please do.
I just want to say this right at the beginning. That date doesn't work for me. I'm going to be out of town for a family commitment, and I'm just one of 5. So, but I just wanted to let everybody know that date just doesn't work for me.
Well, I will add to that you'll be 3 of 5 if it's that date, because I'm out of town as well.
At this point, I would say let's entertain another date.
There's certainly once school is out of session, there's nothing necessarily other than darkness. There's nothing to necessarily preclude meeting during the week. And that would be, pushing it earlier in that week. I will out of pure selfishness, I will point out that the town of Lee has postponed their annual town meeting to the 24th, which is the Thursday. But I don't want the tail to wag the dog either.
Well, I'm out of town from the 21st to the 26th.
I'm just out of town that day. So any other time is fine with me.
What about Thursday, June 17th? that evening?
That, from a logistical perspective, might be fine, though it would be the day before the last day of school.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, probably don't want to do that.
But perhaps as an alternative, we might look at the following Tuesday, which would be the 29th.
Yeah, that works.
I think that's a good idea. I was just looking at the calendar.
Well, it works for me.
All right.
Ed, okay with you?
Oh, that's, yeah, fine. Yeah, I felt bad I couldn't do the original date.
You're in good company, so.
You're,
I'm actually one of those people who likes town meeting. I know it's weird, but I think it's, it's just one of our cool little traditions, people get to come and speak their mind and, you're right there in front of them to hear it. So, it's something, I think it's an important thing.
I do too, Ed. So I think as chair, it would be, I'll say it's important to me to make sure as many members are present as possible. Not just for voting purposes and et cetera, but just because I think it's a great tradition. So have we arrived at, is it Tuesday the 29th, Chris?
That's where this discussion appears to be going. Yeah.
And so if it's Tuesday, June 29th, are we thinking about doing it the way we did it when people came in their cars that evening? Or will we do it on the field?
I was, when staff had contemplated this, we were contemplating the field. And if, there's the need to utilize the overhead lights, we would do so if the discussion went on. I mean, the good news is it's one of the longest days of the year. So daylight will be around for a while.
Did we say a time?
We're looking at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay.
Yeah, but that's when it was scheduled for a Saturday. So 7 o'clock, you might be pushing the daylight. But
I think if we could start it at 5 or 5:30, that sounds better.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it.
I mean, I think that people are flexible enough now with the Zoom situations and the work from home situations that we could probably get most people there for 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that makes sense, Mary Beth, I think.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll get
Sounds good to me.
All right, I like the sound of the discussion. It seems like we're primarily in agreement. Ed, I would make a motion and I would amend it to June 29th at 5 p.m. And all else looks like it stays the same.
Okay, could I bring up one other thing, concerning the town meeting before we
Certainly.
we do this? We all love these Zoom meetings. I know it, but do you think it's not? I'm just going to throw this out here. We have a lot going to be on this town meeting this year, a lot of important things. And would it be okay with everybody if we got together somehow and had a good working session, some day or night or whenever it works, and the board, and obviously it's an open meeting, but just an afternoon in town hall somewhere where we could get together and really hammer things out, because I've been to town meetings for a long time, and I've seen some that go off smoothly and I've seen some that don't go off so smoothly. And I think preparation is the key to it, the whole thing. I'd love to have a good working session where you could kick ideas off each other and, plan how we're going to go about things. So we're all, working together. Just throwing that out
Seems
there.
reasonable.
Yeah,
I'll second that idea.
okay. Can I add to that, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
I mean, I don't know where we all stand on the vaccine issue, but the sooner we can get back to meeting in person, I think the more effective the board becomes. So we've got to keep that in the back of our mind. And when everybody feels comfortable, because I certainly don't want to suggest that if somebody doesn't feel comfortable. But when people start to feel comfortable, we should consider not only Ed's suggestion, but also getting back to regular meetings in the town hall.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I would agree with that.
So with the immediate idea of having a working session, I'll speak, I think, not just for myself, but staff generally, and selfishly, we would certainly benefit a great deal from having the traditional working session that we've always had as part of not only the budget process, but the town meeting prep process. So I really appreciate that the board is willing to entertain this discussion tonight. I think in person is great. So thank you all for considering it.
Absolutely.
Is there anything, Chris, that precludes us from doing that? Or are we free to go if we so choose?
I think it's a matter of posting, and we can provide accommodations within the auditorium for a working session.
Yep.
Be less of a production in terms of a audio visual requirement.
And spacing, should there be members in the public.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be fully vaccinated and ready to go as of May 1st. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I'm one of the wild cards because I just got my second vaccine like a week ago.
Well, it's about time we get some benefit from having our vaccines.
Well, so I'm all set.
Okay.
So Chris will obviously poll us all as to when a date would be, and
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, thank you all for doing this. I think it'll be very productive.
Good suggestion, Ed. I appreciate that.
thanks. So with that, I'll make a motion to postpone the annual town meeting to June 29, 2021 at 5 p.m. at Lenox Middle and High School in accordance with Chapter 39, Section 9 of the general laws, and further to direct the town manager to prepare a warrant for the board's consideration in conformance with statutory and bylaw requirements for posting said warrant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, Chris, you have a date to work with.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Does everybody have a copy of Chris's distribution of the outdoor dining regulations?
I can put it
Yes.
up on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because next before us is a discussion, and I believe this will result in a motion should we be satisfied with the discussion of our outdoor dining regulations.
Okay, so I'll just read it for the purposes of the record. As we approach the summer season in downtown Lenox, we should expect to see a busier season than last year. The adoption of the town bylaws at last year's special town meeting regarding outdoor dining was for more than 6 months. Therefore, we need to address our plan going into the summer of 2021. Below, or I'm about to read, recommended regulations for both proprietors as well as citizens and visitors to the town. Recommendation number 1, all outdoor dining must be 4 feet from the curb. Recommendation number 2, there must be a 4-foot corridor on sidewalks for passing. This may be accomplished by the same aforementioned 4-foot buffer from the curb. Recommendation number 3, proprietors must apply for a summer outdoor dining permit if utilizing sidewalk, tree lawn, which is the green space between the road and the sidewalk, and or other town property. Alcohol is not prohibited from May 1st, 2021 to November 1st, 2021 in the following locations, as long as it is being consumed with a meal: Lilac Park, Triangle Park, Roach Reading Park. Recommendation number 5, no parking spaces may be utilized for outdoor dining. Recommendation number 6, proprietors must have an adequate trash disposal plan. They must not utilize town trash receptacles. While not specifically addressed in these regulations, it should be mentioned that open containers on streets, sidewalks, and any town property not mentioned above remains prohibited. And the town will provide temporary hand washing sinks, 3, throughout downtown, and public accessible bathrooms, again, 3, are available at Town Hall. The Lenox Police Department is the enforcement agency for the above referenced rules and regulations. And note, above stated rules and regulations are subject to change. So now that it's read into the record, we can kick off the discussion.
Have we been discussing with Department of Public Works and or the police departments and or town management the addition of a couple of tents that the town may be able to purchase with American Rescue Plan funds in order to provide for inclement weather in the park?
Yes, we did have, we had a tent, we had 2 tents up last year, one in the dining terrace off of Church Street, and then a second on the Winstanley property as well. And I see no reason that we couldn't do that through the CARES Act again this year.
Great. Do you think we might be able to add a third one in Roach Reading Park?
I'm happy to. I think you know, with a couple of there's multiple benefits to doing that.
Well, I know that library has some programming planned that would be well served by the addition of a tent in Roach Reading Park. And I think the Lenox Cultural District is also hoping to use a tent that may be set up in Roach Reading Park.
Mr. Chair, are you done, Mary Beth? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Go ahead, Ed.
I actually have, well, the first thing I would like to see on this is to add the word retail, but next to outdoor dining and retail, recommended rules and regulations for outdoor dining and retail.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is because we had a lot of people that were putting tents in the parking lot or parking spaces
Right.
last year. So this would, you know, it covers that, okay? Because, you know, if it's not prohibited, it's legal sometimes, you know? And,
No,
but of the overall thing, I'd like to see that number 1. But I think I would like to have a discussion about 3 points in here. Number 1, who approves the permits and what's that process? Number 2 is the trash disposal plan and how is that going to be monitored and handled? I think we need some real, we need to put some language in there. We need to talk about that one. And the next is the police as an enforcement agency. Just me, but I'm just not really liking that one too much. So, you know, I think we need to talk about a few of these things. Just so, you know, so I mean, it's going to happen quick. All of a sudden, in a couple of weeks, we're going to need to do this stuff, and we got to have the definite guidelines down. And I say the first one was who approves the permits. Did they just come to town hall, give it to somebody, and blah, blah, it gets permitted? I personally think we should have somebody, and sorry, Chris, I think it should be you, should actually go do a site visit before a permit is given out. You know, because there are some issues in town. Let's not kid ourselves. There are some places we've had trouble, and we know where they are. And I think a talk between the town manager and the proprietors would go a long way than just shuffling papers back and forth.
So I mean, I'm happy to play whatever role in that the board sees fit to put on. the bylaw does require the selectmen to approve each of those.
Mhm.
So one thing that you've done in the past, and I'll be the first to admit, we allowed quite a bit of latitude last summer in light of the circumstances, right? But in your approval for each of those permits was embedded that the conduct of the licensee or the permittee had to meet the satisfaction of both myself and Chief O'Brien. So it could be, in theory, revoked at any time by either one of us without having to call a board meeting or something of that nature. That has been your tradition. Now, we were admittedly we were quite lenient and lax last year, but with indoor dining being allowed more broadly, I think it behooves the town to kind of ratchet back a little bit of compared to what was allowed last year.
Chris, what if we, if the approval is ultimately the select board, why don't we have it that, you would perform a site visit for each applicant, but accompanied by at least one member of the select board?
That would be terrific.
I'll make it a point to try to be as available as possible, and I'm sure others will too, but
Yeah, I'm available.
Agreed.
Me too.
Great.
Makes sense.
and I think we need to have, Ed, I'd like to hear further what your thoughts are. I think we need to have it stated so that it doesn't get confusing, that the police have full measure of authority in terms of if they see things that they feel are unsafe or not correct. But I don't want to put a burden on them to be is that what you were concerned about?
Yeah, my concern was, I mean, if we asked Chief O'Brien to do whatever, he'd say, yes, I'll do it. I don't want to have the dining police, the Lenox Police Department become the dining police and walk around in uniform, walking up to a place, hey, move the table back. There's got to be, I almost think that's a little confrontational sometimes. So, and I don't know what the answer is either. But maybe, it's got to be some communication between them, us, everybody else, to say if there is a problem somewhere, and then we address it, then we actually do the same thing, town manager or with one of us, or however you want to do that, actually goes and talks to that person, not 2 weeks later, but tomorrow. And say,
Right.
I'm happy to change. I actually think, I mean, we drafted this with the best of intentions, but in listening, I think I'd be happy to designate or have you designate me as the enforcement agent. If I hear what you're saying, I think.
Yeah, I think we, Mr. Chairman, may I?
Please.
I think we've got to get off on the right foot too, because I went through town yesterday and we already have a sandwich board on a sidewalk, at least one, maybe two. So, I mean, if we allow that to happen, it's going to continuously happen and happen more often. So I think we've got to nip it in the bud when we see it. Thank you.
The only other thing I had was the trash disposal. And there again, I talked to Billy, we talked to Chris, we talked to both chiefs, everybody. Nobody really has a great answer, but I wish there was, I just wish in this perfect world, there was more cooperation between the restaurants and, working with the town, because we're bending over backwards for them. And they would take care of their own trash, in a little better than they did in the past year. So
Why don't we address that, Ed, by adding, proprietors must have an adequate trash disposal plan and must play an active role in monitoring trash in the greater area around their outdoor dining space.
yeah, that covers it. Yeah.
let's
Mhm.
imply that they have responsibility for whatever blows into the street.
Yeah, yep, got it.
And relative to the police, I like the idea that Chris floated, which is that Chris is the enforcement, agent together with the select board and has, you know, full responsibility to take any requirements or suggestions from the public safety departments into account. So if they see something they think is unsafe, or they think that's not really 4 feet off the curb, or I don't like cars being that close, they come to us, and then it's up to us to act right away.
Right away, yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, other than that, I'm happy.
Those are good points, Ed and Dave. Chris, do you feel like the edits that we've kind of proposed are minor enough that you can scratch them down and we can move forward on this? Because I think time is of the essence here.
Yeah, I'm happy to, if you want to, approve these regs as discussed with these edits. I can recirculate a draft that reflects that, and if I've stepped out of line, you can all let me know, and we'll fix it.
That's what I'm aiming for. Is I'd like to hear Ed make a motion for it so we can get this enforced or enforceable ASAP.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the recommended rules and regulations for outdoor dining as presented by the town manager and as amended by the select board at this meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor there?
Aye.
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 Okay, folks, good discussion. That was, I think those are all beneficial changes.
Thank you.
So I'm
Thanks for
sorry,
getting that in front of us, Chris.
I'm just going to add one more clarifying comment. Will all of these outdoor applications be coming before us like they did last year? So we'll be calling periodic meetings to approve a small stack of outdoor dining licenses sort of as they come in.
That is how we did it last year.
Right.
They were relatively quick.
Right.
But I mean, we're adding per the edits, we're adding
Right.
a little more rigorous site review involving at least one member.
Yep. Okay, that's great. I just
But
wanted
not
to
a quorum.
clarify that.
Yeah, so,
No problem.
okay.
Feel free to text me anytime. I can dash into town.
I think I'm gonna set up the batting order by pulling the 5 names out of the hat, and if I get a no, I'll just go to the next name. Well, that way everyone's guaranteed to get involved at some point.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
thank you very much. This is very helpful to me. I appreciate it.
We have managed to get through our agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me not leave out liaison reports.
I have nothing.
So, Mr. Chairman, may I go?
Please do.
Okay, thank you. I haven't got much, but I do want to say that Saturday at noontime, the town and the police department are recognizing the officers who have gone above and beyond the call of duty in the last several months, several weeks at the town hall at noontime. Now, it will be recorded by CTSB and played at a later date. The chief has asked me to say that we are limiting seating and personal participation, and ask that you do, if you want to keep abreast of what's happening, but please tune into CTSB at some point because the tape will be played. So Saturday noontime, town hall, the officers who have gone above and beyond will be certainly recognized by the town. Thank you.
The 29th, right, Dave? Is it the
Yeah.
29th?
Oh, no, 24th.
24th at 12 noon.
24th.
24th.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
I just want to express my thankfulness for what these officers have done. I will be unable to attend as I'll be out of town on Saturday. I think it's fantastic that we're having this special ceremony to recognize how much they've gone above and beyond in their duties. And I offer my sincere congratulations and thankfulness that they've been able to do their jobs and protect and preserve life and property as well as they have in town.
I'll certainly convey that message, Chief, and the officers. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, David. I have relatively light remarks. School, as you know, is slated to open back to in-person or in attendance education next week. And the school committee and all involved are busy preparing for that. We will meet the deadline set by the state. At the community center, Darlene is actively speaking with neighbors regarding the new pickleball courts that we've approved. And as I said, it's exciting what's going on at the community center in terms of new facilities or new ways to recreate there. And that's essentially all I have.
So may I add one more thing, Mr. Chairman?
Of course.
I'd certainly like to recognize the passing of our long-term employee, Claudia Colvin, the other day. She's been with the town. She was with the town before she retired for many, many years. And I think we ought to send out our condolences to her family, Officer Billy Colvin, her daughter Melissa, and her husband Chopper, and our sincere sympathies to the family. Thank you.
Yeah, Claudia was good people.
Yeah.
Good family.
I have very little to report. Just a reminder that we'll be having that May 10th meeting between the select board and the planning board to go over the master plan commission's report and vote, I believe, at that meeting to approve that plan. Again, I would remind everyone that the draft of the plan is available online under the planning department or the land use department. I would not expect you to read the entire thing, but just to kind of review those sections that you might have liaison work with, because that will be something that we use to guide our activities for the next 10 to 20 years. So a lot of work has gone into it. I think it's been very thoughtfully prepared by staff and by the steering committee, and there's a lot to it. So I would just recommend that to the board, as well as the fact that the Lenox Cultural District is moving ahead with developing activities for the summer months and the rest of the spring, showcasing the different activities, cultural amenities, and everything that happens in Lenox that makes Lenox so unique. And that's about all I have for now.
Thanks, Mary Beth. Any other liaison reports before we close up? Okay, Ed, I think it's time for that motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank
Aye.
you, folks. Nice to see your faces. I look forward to the idea that we may soon be in person. That will be exciting when that happens.